You can absolutely double your arm size. What you don't need is another cookie cutter program. Instead, I'm not going to give you fish, I'm going to teach you how to fish. Let me quote Bruce Lee: absorb what is useful, discard what is not. Add what is uniquely your own, which leads to step number 1. Discard the exercises that you don't connect with. The biggest mistake I see is sticking with exercises that influencer A or bodybuilder B say are the holy grail for bigger arms. Never once stopping to think that this movement is just not working for me. If the biceps barbell curl is hurting your wrists and elbows, cut it out and try the easy bar instead. If the triceps dips puts too much pressure on your shoulders, get rid of it and try the triceps dip machine instead. There are myriad exercises you can do, which leads to step number 2, how to choose the right exercises for you. Number 1, do you actually feel it in the target muscle? If you do, that's good, and it doesn't cause any pain or discomfort in your shoulders, wrists, or elbows. Can you add weight safely, progressively? Again, without causing pain or discomfort. And most importantly, do you get a nasty pump? A pump by itself doesn't necessarily mean growth. You also need mechanical tension, which comes from the load lifted and the amount of reps to failure. Arnold swore by the pump, and his results spoke for themselves. But I do think the pump is a necessary part of the growth stimulus, which leads to step number 3, how to set up your arm building program. I do biceps on pull day with back. I do triceps on push day with chest and shoulders. I like to do it this way because the bis and tris are pre-fatigued. You can do an arms day if you like. Dorian Yates, 6 times Mr. Olympia, did biceps with chest, 2 non-competing body parts, and triceps with shoulders. As you see, it's all personal preference. Do what works for you and your schedule. And feel free to switch days around. There's no one right answer. But having said that, once you develop your own arm growth plan, you want to follow it at least 8 to 12 weeks. Don't program hop from week to week. Give your program a chance to see if it actually works before abandoning it for another. How many days a week should you hit arms? That depends on how many days you have to train. You want to expose your arms to a training stimulus at least 2 times per week. Having said that, since your arms may be lagging, you can train them every day or every other day. 2 to 3 sets for bis and tris to give them repeated exposure, but you're keeping the volume low and the intensity high. You want good quality sets. If you do train arms 2 times per week, 2 exercises for biceps, 3 to 4 work sets per exercise. 3 exercises for triceps, 3 to 4 work sets per exercise. I feel a bit more volume is needed for the triceps because triceps comprise 2/3 of the upper arm. This is what gives your arms that fullness that you're looking for. As long as you're recovering and progressing, that's really all that matters. What works for you may not work for others, and vice versa. As far as reps are concerned, most people with well-developed arms will work in that 8 to 15 rep range, and even as high as 20 to 25 reps. Reps, especially for arms, below 8 tend to increase the risk of injury. This is where ego lifting can get you in trouble. Arms are especially vulnerable to this problem, which leads to step 4, exercise form and execution. You'll see all kinds of exercise form out there. Ignore it. Run your own race. A good rule of thumb would be the lighter the load, the stricter your form. You want to master and dominate each rep of each work set. Having said that, as the load lifted increases and you get toward the end of a set, by all means, put a little English into the last couple of reps, as long as your form doesn't get too sloppy. A method you could use would be rest pause. Say you're going for 12 reps. As you get to number 10, your form breaks down. Wait 10 to 15 seconds and regroup. Then complete the last 2 reps with good, strict form. As far as the eccentric, the elbow straightening during a bicep curl and the elbow bending during a tricep press down, I personally like to take 1 to 2 seconds. But the reality is, it's going to depend on how long your arms are. 1 to 2 seconds for me could take 4 to 5 seconds if you have long arms. Don't worry about how long it takes. Just focus on controlling the weight and you'll be fine, as well as less prone to injury. The elbow flexes and extends. Keep it simple, don't complicate it, which leads to step number 5. Take measurements. You may think your arms aren't growing, but without taking an initial measurement, how do you know? If your goal is to add 2 inches to your arms, you could realistically do that in 4 months. Now that you know your goal, you can set up your system. Break down the big goal into micro goals. Shoot for a 1/4 inch every 2 weeks, and make sure to measure the same way each time. I recommend the evening. because in the morning you're flat and dehydrated, and it's not going to reflect the true growth. To achieve your micro goals, you will not skip workouts. You will complete all your sets and all your reps of each workout. You will eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day, or a little more if you like. You will eat enough calories and carbs to grow, because carbs are going to fuel your training. You will sleep 6 to 8 hours per night. You will take your creatine every day and not skip. As long as you check all the boxes, the goal will take care of itself. Power tip: if you have a lot of body fat to lose, I suggest you take care of that first. I want you to watch this video next, as it explains why your testosterone and your muscle growth will explode when you hit 15% body fat. And thanks so much for watching.